So what you doing there, tough guy? You know something? Why don't you come over here looking at me again? I'm gonna rip out your stool. I'm gonna unscrew your balls and I'm gonna dump it off over your head. You know something? I'm gonna fucking grill up your cock and I'm just gonna do it in the wintertime when nobody else is grilling hot dogs. I'm a ferocious animal. I don't give a shit about that motherfucker. You know something? I'm gonna fuck you until you love me, you son of a bitch. If your ass is in the way, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna turn into a fucking Pac-Man and you're the blue ghost and I'm just gonna munch that ass away. You motherfucker, I swear to God, I'm the best there ever was. Praise be to Allah. This is Coffee and Catastrophe with Brent and Gabi.
Was that Mike Tyson?
Yeah. The topic for this week is swear words.
Oh, okay.
So
I guess I kind of understand that opening now.
Yeah, kind of. I was just gonna like say a bunch of swear words like in succession, like okay, like George Carlin style. Kind of. Okay, let's play a game.
Okay,
let's play What's in Your Heart.
Okay.
So what you do, like the game is very simple.
Okay.
So you just say a bunch of words together as naturally as it is, but it has to come from a place in your heart. Okay. So they don't have to make sentences. Okay. It can just be words.
Okay.
It's swear words. Like even like not necessarily maybe now, but was there a moment recently where you just wanted to release a barrage of swear words and just like let it be?
Yeah, like working with teenagers every day.
All right. Like what's that like?
Like what is it? Like what is it?
What does it feel like?
It feels like rage, and what I wish I could say is something like, "This is the 5th fucking time we've done this. Stop acting like a bunch of fucking idiots, or listen to me when I'm fucking speaking in the goddamn center of the room. I talk for 3 minutes per period, maybe, and you can't fucking listen. What is your fucking problem? Sit down, be quiet for the next 4 fucking minutes, and then I'll let you go do your shit. And no, you can't go to the bathroom, because I'm pretty sure you're gonna go do drugs in the bathroom. Shut up." It kind of sounds like that.
This is Coffee and Catastrophe with Brent and Stephanie.
Yeah, guys, I'm just concerned that, like, I will, again, I don't, we all have those moments of rage. Like, I don't say them, obviously, though. Because, like, I know it's just, like, they're just teenagers and they're idiots sometimes and they need to be reminded to do things, even though that's frustrating. Like, but yeah, no, I totally have moments as a teacher where I'm like, are you all fucking morons? No, you're not. We've done this a billion fucking times. Sit the fuck down. Did you hear the bell ring? Yes, you did. Or maybe you didn't because you were fucking talking to your friend, which is fine. You should be able to talk to your friend before the bell. But what I really want you to do, what I really need you to do right now is sit the fuck down.
See?
Rage. So much rage.
Yeah.
By the way, what is your favorite swear word? Fuck is my favorite swear word.
Oh, man. I would say I like motherfucker. Motherfucker or shit. One of those two. I say shit a lot. Like, I say, like, yeah, I'm tired of this shit, or, like, I got some shit to do.
Yeah.
But motherfucker, it just feels good when I say it.
Motherfucker is like, motherfucker rolls off the tongue. Shit, like, shit is like, I will say, I'll say shit if something goes wrong, like shit. Or, one swear that I have recently come into, there was like a video of like this Scottish comedian, and he was talking about how like swearing in Scotland is like an art form. It is poetry. And he said, which I've never heard this one, is now my new favorite, Jesus suffering on the cross. That is like my new favorite. Like I've said Jesus fucking Christ, or like, God damn it, or stuff like that. But like Jesus suffering on the cross is like I think that's just the funniest fucking thing.
So have you ever just like wanted to like say completely random shit out loud?
Like just swear like randomly, you mean?
Yeah, but based on something that you were feeling at the time. Huh. That it probably just didn't make any sense, but that was just in your heart.
I think I have an example that you would say, but like not necessarily.
What would I say?
Pussy tits.
Well, that's like a positive one. Like,
No, it's positive. Pussy tits is great.
I say pussy tits everywhere I go.
Yeah, just pussy tits. In terms of like, yeah, I guess like when something goes like wrong or it's like the perfect moment, I just want to be like, Jesus suffering on the cross. Like,
okay.
Yeah. Or like if something's like exciting, I'll say like hot damn.
Hot damn?
Hot damn, yeah.
I say hot, okay, whenever I drop something at work, I say hot balls. Or
hot balls.
Like, I think the other day, like, I dropped a package, like, it was pretty heavy, and I dropped it because I was, like, helping unload a truck, so the goddamn bastards put the heaviest package at the very top, which is what you're not supposed to do, like a 50-pound box.
Yeah.
So I had to Jenga all these boxes, like, underneath it, and then by the time this thing fell, it just, like, fell like boom, and I just said shit on my fucking balls. Or like sometimes I say like shitty dicks. Like it's always like a quick response like that. And I remember I think one time I said that around I was when I was doing my volunteer work. I think I almost said it when I dropped like my pen. I almost said like, oh shit ball. Like I caught myself.
I have to catch myself before I swear in front of kids. So for example, this is like, I was probably in like my first month of teaching and I had a class of like all seniors for like literature. And we literally were just talking about how like I felt very proud of myself that I've never sworn in front of a group of students. And one of my kids had this stapler that didn't use staples. It like punches a piece of paper out and like ties it into like the front of it. And he gave it to me to like practice. And I did it wrong. And I said, wow, I really fucked that one up. And then all of a sudden they all like erupted in laughter. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, I didn't mean it. But like the kids, if you slip up like that authentically, they think it's really funny and like genuine. I never have sworn at a kid. I've never even like, there are people I know who like, if a kid is like really giving them shit or like is like one of these like routine troublemakers, like I've heard teachers tell that kid like, you know, you're not going to amount to anything in life, right? Like that level of like horrible shit. So like, I mean, at least I don't say that, but like I totally do have to like something will fall on the floor and I'll want to say like god damn it or shit, or like somebody I taught yoga. I volunteered for, they have like a wellness challenge and they asked me to teach a yoga class to the students and it was fantastic. Like 30 kids showed up and one of my students in the student newspaper came in and was like, are you ready to teach yoga to us? And I had to stop myself from saying, fuck yeah, I am. And so I was like, hell yeah, I am. And I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have said hell, but like, you know.
Man, I would actually rather hear shut the fuck up as opposed to you'll never amount to anything in life.
But the thing is, like, kids think that they're tough and that they can handle it. But the moment a teacher, like, has, like, I've seen, like, teachers give it back to them, the moment that happens, they're kids again. They can't handle it. Like, they cannot handle that stuff. Like, rightfully so. They're kids, but.
Yeah, I think it's also, they live in a world where they will get punished if they say it. Whereas, like, in the adult world, you can casually, just, like, right now, I could just say, like, shitty piss.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, like, ultimately swearing at somebody is way worse than just swearing. Like, if something goes wrong and you say fuck or, like, shit or goddamn, like, that's one thing. Like, when I get, like, rageful internally and, like, I want to yell and scream and call everyone a fucking moron, like, I could never call a kid a fucking moron.
Yeah. So, but, like, in general, just swearing out loud. And I think over the past few years, I've been more positive with my random swearing. So, for instance, my friend and I were driving around town last summer, and I think we were going to a garage sale, so it was really in the morning, and we were listening to the radio faintly. And then, you know that song, that really old song, Big Girls Don't Cry? Like, Big Girls Don't Cry. Yep. Okay. So my friend just started saying, big dick, dead boy. And like the whole time we were just going, big dick, dead boy. Big dick, dead boy. And the whole song we were just saying, big dick, dead boy.
That's really funny.
Yeah. So now whenever we're like planning on hanging out, like, hey man, what are you doing Thursday? Yeah, let's hang out. Where do you want to go? We want to go to breakfast or lunch? Let's go to Jersey Mike's. Big dick, dead boy, man. I think that just means okay now. So
That's like how you said you send me PT, pussy tits.
Yeah, pussy. I remember for the longest time I was afraid to tell you in the group what PT meant.
Yeah, no, I would get that, and I think obviously you did eventually, and then it was like, oh, pussy tits. Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's such a nobody else says it.
Yeah.
But every person I've said it to now says it.
I don't actively say it, but I think that's just because I'm not one to really say pussy or tits. I just don't.
But I know you've said it like in my presence.
Oh yeah, I've said pussy tits before.
Yeah.
Do you, I also like, again, like in terms of like swearing and stuff, like I don't really like talk about, like I don't really say the C word, and even that right now, like I've said it before, but like I really try not to say it because I think like it is like the harshest like swear word you could ever use. So I'm like not really comfortable with it. I know there's parts in the world where like that word is like way more acceptable than like bitches.
Yeah.
Like I totally get that, but I have in the past, like I totally did struggle to like not call people assholes when I thought they were being assholes. Like with Cody, like when he was being a fucking asshole, I'm like, you were acting like an asshole. And then he'd be like, you called me an asshole. And no, I said you're acting like an asshole. And I like saying that versus like you're a dick, because like everyone has an asshole.
But you're acting like an asshole is passive aggressive.
Oh no, yeah, no.
So
well, is it? I think it's just straight aggressive when you're like you're being an asshole or you're acting like an asshole.
No, you're acting like you might as well, like if someone said like, Gabi, you're being a bitch.
Yeah.
How would you take that?
No, yeah, then I'm being a bitch. Yeah.
Right, but would you say like, okay, he called me a bitch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but being a bitch versus acting like a bitch.
Right.
See,
as opposed
just
to saying,
kidding. It means the same shit. It's just as bad.
If someone just said, Gabi, you're a bitch, would you take that? Like, is that harsher than saying, Gabi, you are acting like a bitch?
Of course.
So
no, but I don't do that now. Like I have not sworn at a partner like that, which again, it was just me being a stupid kid, and like not being good. So, but yeah, so like the biggest thing is like, I'm fine. Like when people curse, it's just like, if it's directed at people, like then it's like not okay to me.
I get with the C word. I've tried to use that as an adjective, and it's really helped.
Like, can you give me an example?
Okay. Hey, Brent, do you want to go see this movie on Friday? Yeah, man. Sweet. Cunty cocks.
Yeah, no, that doesn't work. That one does not work.
What?
No.
Cunty cocks?
Yeah, it doesn't work. I'm sorry. That doesn't make sense.
But that means okay. That's just like how I say okay.
Like, pussy tits is like funny.
Right. It makes no sense, though.
Yeah, but for some reason, that one just is like too much.
Cunty cocks. That's kind of like... It's like a name of like a musician. And now coming to this day...
Courtney Cox is a person.
Cunty cocks. But
is their alter ego. No, I'm just kidding.
But
yeah, no, I don't know. That one, like, cock is like funny. Like, remember we recorded an episode and I said choke on a cock, and you were like, whoa.
It's only because like you, it was like such a deep monologue about like that dark part of your life, and then you just started like, you just suck a cock, and I just did a spit take.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But and that's really rare. Like, I don't normally like tell people to choke on dick. Like, that's not normal for me.
So how about like, okay, in high school, the group of kids, I don't know how this shit started, or who started it, but in the ether was biatch cunter.
That was not. Why? Okay, why was biatch? Why biatch? Like, why not just bitch? Like,
I don't know. Like, we just said it. Like, that it was part of our life. Like once biatch cunter like entered the fray, like it was like in the Royal Rumble, man. It just eliminated every other word. It came out.
But was it in the ring the longest? That's the question.
I think so, man. Biatch cunter, at least for 5 years, and like
like the C word has never been fashionable for me or like my friends to say. Like, no one ever said it.
Why is that?
I think it's probably because we're girls, and like that is like the end all be all word that you are taught to never call a woman or say. Probably that. I did one time, I think I've told this story, where like when I was like a junior or senior, that word like kind of came into fashion for a blip of time. And I was at a concert, and staying next to these two people that I didn't know, and because my friends were in front of me but like not near me, and this drunk lady blasted into me, and like she like shoved me or like pushed me, and like was just being a dick, and I like, or a jerk, and I like said like, wow, what a blank. And the guy next to me was like, you don't ever call a woman that. Like, he corrected me. And it was like this weird moment of like, I want to tell him to go fuck himself, but I didn't.
Oh, he was trying to totally hit on you. Like, that was...
No, but he was like with a girl. But he was with like,
that doesn't matter.
He was hitting on me for correcting me to not call a woman a C word.
Yeah. Totally. Like, that's what it would have led to. Like, he came out with the whole, like,
oh my God.
The righteous gentleman. That's a... Like,
righteous gentleman? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Dude, or, like, the educated nice guy.
Yeah, but I was also, like, 17 and, like, don't fuck with me. Like...
But, so, he, I think... If I'm remembering correctly, I read an article about RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yes.
And they referred to, like some of the lingo in there, they would say, that bitch is cunt. And that would be like a way of saying...
Well, and that stands for charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. That's what that stands for.
So that's okay?
Well, but they don't say... I don't think they say it, but RuPaul will be like, I want to see your charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. And like... You know,
so like if somebody said like Gabi, like okay, like in your music it's just some like cunt filled.
Yeah, no, I would be like,
yeah,
you can say it's full of charisma, you can say it's full of uniqueness and nerve and talent, but to make that acronym, which again, like too, like I think it's like again, like words get adopted by like groups and communities and they mean other things. Like they also say like hunty, which is like honey and the C word. So. You know, that's like their combination. But like at the same time, like as a cis white woman.
Yeah. So
you know, I just don't say that word.
So, let me see. I'm trying to think of some other words. I used to say, well, okay, like here's kind of more of like positive swear words, like in the moment, like hanging out with friends. I would just break out into song. And it would just be, piss on my tits like you want this shit.
Yep.
What? Piss on my tits like you want this shit. What? Piss on my tits like you want this shit.
But in the age of R. Kelly, we can't say that.
You know, he's the new Hitler's mustache.
He's the new Hitler's mustache? What do you mean?
His music is the new Hitler's mustache.
What is Hitler's mustache? What do you mean?
Okay, so like right now, you cannot have like a Hitler's mustache. You cannot just like a guy cannot just shave his mustache
down to that little like Hitler. 2-finger blip. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like this socially accepted thing. So now R. Kelly's music is kind of this new Hitler's mustache thing where you can't socially just listen to fucking Ignition because it's like it's the same Hitler's mustache.
No, that's true.
Kind of Michael Jackson, but he has this whole drove of supporters saying like, he didn't do it. Fuck you. These are lying kids. They want me to die. Fuck you. I hate you. Oh, R. Kelly, he totally did it. I would never listen to his music. Fuck you, I'm doing the moonwalk. I hate you. Fuck you.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, I listened to actually, so I haven't seen like the whole like Leaving Neverland documentary. I did find like the hour-long talk with Oprah Winfrey afterward with the two men and the director, which was like pretty powerful and cool. But I watched H3H3 did like an hour-long segment on like talking about like reviewing it, and they also did like the Surviving R. Kelly one too in his interview, and they were just saying that like the main guy, I think Ethan, I think is his name, he like offered this like thought experiment of like, you know, what's the percentage of the chance that Michael Jackson and a young boy are sleeping in a bed for 30 days and for 30 days and 30 nights, but for 30 nights. And he's like, what percentage was the likelihood that he did not do something to that boy? Like,
100%. He's fucking innocent. He didn't have a childhood. Fuck you. I hate you.
And that's like, I'm just like, the people who say that, and it's like, he didn't have a childhood. He was messed up, blah, blah, blah. But like, first off, no, like I can understand that like you didn't have a childhood, but then to befriend small boys and make them spend the night with you, like no. He
did so much for charity. You're trying to ruin the reputation of a black man. It's because he's black. Fuck you. I hate you.
Yeah. They are trying to ruin Michael Jackson's reputation, and he is a black man, but at the same time, he potentially, most likely, was acquitted, but maybe still did harm children.
No, the boys just want the fucking money. He didn't fuck Macaulay Culkin. R. Kelly? No, he's a monster. He should go to jail forever.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get it. And it's like, you know, we talked about this last week, like, I think just like before we were recording, of like, you know, if you're going to listen to Michael Jackson's music, so he's dead, and all the, revenue made from listening to his music goes to his estate. And ideally that benefits his living family. And so I don't feel bad about like listening to that music because it's going to go support like his kids. Like I'm fine with that. But obviously, like, but then it doesn't work for R. Kelly because R. Kelly's still alive and he will just get more money. Yeah, it's just so messed up, dude.
Michael Jackson's fucking innocent. How dare you accuse him? How dare you ruin his black legacy? He's a black man. He's innocent. He was just the best fucking man that ever lived. R. Kelly should go to jail.
Michael Jackson is a very talented man. Very, very talented. But you can also be talented and be really fucked up. Like
he was the most talented pedophile in the history of the world.
Yeah. Pretty much.
R. Kelly's up there too. So like other countries got to step up their game.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And like the fact that like he groomed like the entire and that's how like these pedophiles work, is that they will groom the entire family and like make everything feel safe and okay. And like just so also like I remember seeing images of Michael Jackson and being like terrified because like he looked, when he died, like after he had all those surgeries, like he looked like a monster, like fucking scary. I have no idea how it got to that level. Like he looks terrifying. But R. Kelly should go to jail.
Oh, yeah, he totally did. I believe every single story that those women said, they did it in such a very detailed way to where the evidence was just insurmountable. And there was just a 6-part documentary. It was 6 hours long. And I just really felt for the women and just seeing the emotion on their faces.
Yeah.
Like when they're given the testimony, it's one of the most horrifying like documentaries I've ever seen. But Michael Jackson's full of shit.
Yeah.
Fucking propaganda.
Well, and that's like, the thing is that the reason it makes it so hard to put charges on Michael Jackson is because there's no evidence. It's not like R. Kelly who filmed his escapades, or we have these women like, there's not, I mean, maybe there are. Have there been women who's testified to say like, I dated R. Kelly and he never did that to me, as there was for Michael Jackson.
His 2 current girlfriends.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was just so, but like, anyway, like, it's just, I don't know, like the reason it's so difficult to like pull a decent case against Michael Jackson is because like all the abuse was one-on-one between him and the kid. Like it's like any time these types of cases come in, it is so difficult because it ultimately is a he said she said situation. And so like that's why it's so difficult. But obviously with R. Kelly, there's like video evidence, even though he's claiming it wasn't him, and was acquitted. And that's the other thing too, is like just because someone's acquitted doesn't mean they're innocent. That just means that there isn't enough evidence beyond a reasonable doubt to prove that they did the crime.
He allegedly had tapes. He allegedly had hundreds of tapes that might have been his brother who wasn't there when the pissing occurred.
Jesus Christ. Like, that's just like, ugh, it's so disgusting. And honestly, when you have these like nasty, horrible topics, swear words really help us. Like I just did. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, it's just like, it's an easy way to dismiss and tell the world how you feel. It's also a good way to make sure people don't talk to you. Because you can just like throw, like if you want to instantly like put people off and make like, it can go one of two ways. Like if someone's like messing with you, you can be like, fuck off. And then that like sets the line of like, don't mess with me. Now they could explode and be like, why you fucking swearing at me, man? But like, yeah.
Perhaps one of the reasons why the Michael Jackson documentary, at least with the 2 now grown adults, haven't been as, quote unquote convincing is because not until the last part of the documentary did they show any emotion when they were talking about it. And I think people want what you saw in the R. Kelly tape. Like, they say, like, my name is Vanessa and I met R. Kelly at 14 and that motherfucker did it. Like, you just see the emotion right away. And I think that makes, I hate to say it, but it makes it for better TV. So, but with these 2 kids, like he's dead and all that shit. But like, it's just like, dude, like, is there any, like, if I approached anybody, like if I approached you and I just said, hey, Gabby, look, last night, The Rock just tore my ass to shreds and took advantage of me. Would you believe me? Like right away?
Right away? No.
No. So why?
Because you don't know The Rock, number one. Number two, The Rock hasn't given anything in any sort of way. I mean, I don't know him personally, but he doesn't seem like someone who would do that.
So I met Mick Foley and the Iron Sheik. Mm-hmm. So if I said, yeah, Mick Foley and the Iron Sheik, like Iron Sheik put me in the camel clutch and then he fucked me with his 10-inch cock.
Oh my God.
Would you say like, oh man, I'm so sorry to hear that. Fuck, I love support friend. Give me a hug. Like, would you say that, or you'd be like, get the fuck out of here?
I'd say get the fuck out of here.
So imagine if you're 7.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And you said, yeah, Michael Jackson made me blow him.
Yeah, like Michael, this guy who's, bought us houses and put us on vacations and has befriended my mom. Oh my God. Yeah, no, he's harming me at night. Like, I can't even, like, I literally don't understand. Like, again, I'm not a parent, but like, how can you be so stupid? Like, why?
That's
how?
What fame is equivalent to familiarity in a way.
Yeah.
Because like, if The Rock came over to your house right now and just like came inside and he just shit in your tub and left, and we were just like, wait, what the fuck is
yeah
but if it was like Bill, like your next door neighbor, I don't even know if you have a Bill next door, but let's just say there was a Bill.
I don't think his name's Bill.
But you wouldn't be able to just have him in the house as easy as if like The Rock came inside. If The Rock came, hey, is it okay if I come inside? You wouldn't say like, no, I don't know you. You can't come inside. You'd be like, holy shit, The Rock is here. I got to let him in the house. Not only that, but when you're 12 years old, like, at least with me, like everybody at the lunch table was saying, like, just misinforming each other about like sex in general. I was like, yeah, last night I had sex with 3 chicks. Yeah, like 11-year-olds. So like, can you imagine like
that didn't happen at my lunch table, but yeah, no, but like kids talk or they'll use misinformation.
But even still, if you just said like, yeah, last night Michael Jackson blew me, and they're like, what? That's a fucking lie. Yet like the kid that said that he had sex with 4 chicks is calling that kid a liar.
Yeah.
So
no. Well, and it's just like the manipulation and the way Michael Jackson, or the accused, I should say, was manipulating families and kids. Like, it's just disgusting. And one of the guys said that they were already groomed for Michael Jackson when they met him because they knew he was Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? Like, they were, they already were like, oh my God, this amazing pop star. He is a god. And then like, they were already groomed for that then.
Yeah. And yeah, the parents are idiots. With fame though, he's probably the most famous person who has ever lived. At least in terms of like, at least in the modern world, in terms of like the age of like television and like music and radio and the internet, like probably Jesus is up there too, at least in terms of like, well, even like when he was alive, no, he was famous after he died. It's not like everyone was like, holy shit, it's fucking, actually, no, maybe he was, but in any case.
He was kind of famous, but obviously he got crucified, so.
Yeah, and that was only like a couple hundred people knew, but it's not like people were just chilling in Zanzibar at the time, like eating twigs and shit, and they're like, hey, did you hear Jesus
eating
died?
Twigs, really?
Jesus, I don't know, I'm just saying. Like, well, at the time, like, everyone was broke, so they just ate sticks. So they just it's not like, dude, did you hear? What? Turn on the news. And then they just said, like, Jesus dies at the age of whatever.
Yeah.
Like when Michael Jackson died, literally, like, there was this feeling in the air the next morning. And it's almost 10 years now since his death. And I remember I went to school the next day. Like, I remember my friend called me and we were watching it on the news as they announced him dying. And then I yelled downstairs to my dad. I'm like, he's fucking dead. He's fucking dead. Like, just to like catch him up with the news. And the next day at school, everyone was silent. See,
so we were on family vacation for when he died, and like we were on family vacation with another family, and the funny thing was like the day previously I was we were listening to Michael Jackson, like there was like a playlist, and I literally thought the day before he died, wow, it's gonna be a really sad day when Michael Jackson dies. Next day he fucking died.
Oh really?
Yeah, no, for real. No, I'm not even fucking joking.
No, God was like, oh really? Gabi?
No, exactly.
Okay.
God was like, oh really? You want a sad fucking day? Here's a sad fucking day. Like, no. But yeah, no. But I don't think I killed Michael Jackson with my thoughts, but if I did, you're welcome. Like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah. I think his reputation was such where the last 15, maybe 20 years of his life, like, he was battling those allegations, and in the celebrity world, your reputation is everything. And if you do something that people either don't want to believe or is something that's completely against your character, it either just completely goes away, or B, they go like you're completely ruined. Like your career is ruined. I don't think R. Kelly's ever going to sing again, but Bill Cosby can come back. I think if Bill Cosby gets out of jail and he's very reflective and he goes on Dancing with the Stars and he does the pudding dance and then he's hosting America's Got Talent and then he just kind of comes back, I think people will love Bill Cosby again. I don't
think Bill Cosby can come back. I think that it's just been too much and that he won't be able to come back. But, you know, there's a lot of like Mike Tyson is back and he went to jail for raping someone, correct?
Yeah.
So he served jail time for rape, but he's still acceptable.
I don't think it happened. I mean, I don't know. That's the thing. I mean, at least with him, I think the road to redemption for Mike Tyson was such to where he is now a very inspirational guy and very reflective about all of his shit. And he still denies that it happened, but at least with his persona, like he's like, yeah, I was a crazy man. You know, I'm thinking, why are you saying that, man? Why'd you say that in the interview? You a joke. I wouldn't say that shit.
Yeah.
But
it's like, I have this weird line of like, you know, I want to believe that people can change, but at the same time, like, it really is like a good question of like, when is redemption possible and for whom? Because like, who do we forgive and why, and how do they redeem themselves? Like, have you ever read the book The Kite Runner?
I've seen the movie.
Okay, so you know that like the main character, he watches his like servant get raped and he as a boy and he does nothing to intervene, and that's kind of the burden that he carries for the rest of his life, and that he feels that like he basically his whole journey throughout the rest of the book is like redeeming himself for not intervening when his friend was raped. And so like that is a really deep question. And like, you know, can you be redeemed for being complicit in an act like that? And then further, well, can the rapist be redeemed? Is that possible? 'Cause like, there's definitely a big part of me that's like, no, I don't think that anyone who has ever raped or harmed somebody should be given redemption. But again, that's at war with my belief that people can change and people are capable of changing. So it's like a really weird thing. And especially in like the court of public opinion, like obviously people like suffer and their careers, die off and they are forever shamed from an industry, or, what happens too is like we've talked about before, like they'll go away, they'll bide their time, they'll do other things. Eventually people forget and then they come back. Like you were saying with like, oh, now they'll do all these like news shows and they'll like make themselves look great again and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden it's like nothing ever happened.
Depends on the quality of their art, which is why I think the Michael Jackson one is the one that's going to be the hardest to accept. Because even still, the same people who are willing to just say, oh, the R. Kelly shit, that's 100% accurate, I believe everything, and they still say, fuck you, Michael Jackson conspiracy. But that's how good his music was. Mm-hmm. So I think if your art surpasses your sins. So with R. Kelly, yeah, he was a great musician. It wasn't great enough to let this shit not get the best of him. Mm-hmm. So he should have, he had some classics 20 years ago. He should have kept coming out with the best shit. He should have been on top, and his art would, in the culture, would have redeemed him. But he's not going to be able to be redeemed. And again, I think that Cosby is not going to be able to be redeemed. And I don't think, and it's also too, it's like, are you worthy of redemption at that point? Like, it's not even just, can you do it, but are you worthy of being redeemed after you have put, so many other people in harm's way and hurt them? Those are big questions. Yeah.
In the age of the Me Too movement and people being called out for sexual assault and, canceling and call out culture, in that era, is there room for redemption?
I think for everyone that we have talked about, there is room for redemption because they didn't say the N-word.
That is true. That is a sin that can never be forgiven.
Michael Jackson never once said it. So I think he'll be fine.
You know what's freaky too? Have you seen pictures of his sister Latoya?
Not recently.
Like, so whoever the hell was doing their plastic surgery in whatever decade, like at one point they looked the same, like the exact same person. It's just like too much. Like, yeah, it's just so fucked up. It's so fucked up.
Yeah.
It's funny. I said it's so fucked up, but like there's no other word that could describe the situation other than it's so fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, is there another way I could explain that? No, it's so fucked up is like the perfect way to say that.
Yeah. You couldn't even say pussy tits to that.
No, you could not. Like, even say, oh, it's so messed up. Like, no, man, it's not messed up. It's fucked up.
Fucked up. Like, even like a 5-year-old kid would be like, that's fucked up.
That's fucked up. Yeah, no. Which I was actually thinking about this earlier. Like, I don't, some people think it's adorable when kids swear. I think it's creepy and like, I don't like it. But like when old people swear, love it. And when I say swear, like not calling people racial slurs, but like when like when my grandmother like dropped an F-bomb, it was hysterical. Like my grandmother is like pretty tight-laced. So when that slipped out, it was hysterical.
Depends on the old person. Like if they're using racial slurs, if it depends how they say it. If they're saying it obviously on the porch hatefully and they're throwing like bricks at like the neighbor. But if they say it endearingly.
No. This is not Clerks 2. We are not reenacting Clerks 2.
No, not even better than that. But at least with a rapist.
No. No.
At least with a rapist, they could say that happened in their life 30 years ago and they're a completely different person now. If you're caught being a racist, that stays with you the rest of your life.
I think that being a rapist sticks with you forever though too. Like, I mean, I don't know. I still think that like, yeah. I think that it's true that like people have been totally brought down. Like, for example, Paula Deen. No one ever talks about Paula Deen anymore because she openly admitted to like, yeah, like I've done these things and I've said these things. But I still think that like, I don't know. It's like personally, like my personal, like who I think could be redeemed. Like I think personally, a person who used racial slurs could be redeemed if they see like the error of their ways and like don't do that behavior anymore. And it's hard too, because like when you're doing that, you're having to like put harm, like you're having to gauge whose harm is worse. And like, if that by me saying that a person who used racial slurs could eventually redeem themselves, but a rapist couldn't, it's like I'm saying that like the pain from racial slurs being like pointed at you is not as great as the pain of being raped. And it's like, that's even like, I don't know, like again, like we were not trying to have the pain Olympics or to see who has the worst situation. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah.
I'm just going to go out on a limb and say there is a hierarchy. I think like if there was a choice, like, okay, rape or just have someone call you a name. I think they'd go in that long ass name line. I understand what you're saying.
Because like I'm saying that because I don't want somebody to be like think that I don't recognize the psychological trauma and pain from being called those names.
Yeah, like those two boys did the Michael Jackson documentary not because they were called a cracker by Michael Jackson.
Yeah, well, also, no white person has ever. No, like, oh my God.
Like, I highly doubt the woman that was getting peed on at the age of 14 in the R. Kelly sex video was like, the worst part about it all was that he called me a bitch.
Yeah, I understand, but I'm just saying, like, I don't like taking part in the pain Olympics of like, well, clearly that was worse, blah, 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 because like, I don't know, maybe that one was worse for the person. Like, I don't know their fucking life. Like,
yeah, it's just, but I think rape is a lot worse than words. That's kind of the thing.
Yeah, no, I agree for the most part, but I just don't want people to think, because like words do have power. And like, again, like swear words, like there's people who like absolutely do not swear because they think that it's like vulgar and like, you know, it doesn't demonstrate like a really thoughtful person or like something like that. Or it makes people sound dumb. And like, words do hurt. Like, I think that can't be erased. Like, I know people, like, you know, the sticks and stones bullshit, but it's like, no, like, at the end of the day, like, words construct reality. So we have that kind of level of it too, where it's like, you know, if you call somebody an asshole, like, yeah, it's gonna, like, you know, it's not as, yeah, I just think, yeah, words hurt and words construct reality. So.
Shit.
Do you not agree?
Well, it's true, but I think, I still think rape is worse than being called a name. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and that's, and I think
infinite. I can't think of a situation where, like, I can't think of a word that would be so bad, or even a sentence, like a string of words that would be worse than rape.
Well, I think it's because I think I'm in that standpoint because, one, I have not been raped and I have not been called any sort of racial slur ever. Like, even like cracker obviously does not affect me. Like, that's not a. I hate to say this, like, it's not a real racial slur, but, like, it's not a real racial slur. Like, I don't know. But, like, also, I would think that, like, if you've lived your entire life, like, being called those names, like, I think that sometimes the psychological trauma can be akin to that of a rape victim. That's all I'm saying. Because I just don't want to put a flag, again, I don't want to, you know, put my flag in the sand anywhere. Because again, like, that's taking part in, like, the Pain Olympics, and I'm, like, just not going to do that.
So, but at least we could agree. R. Kelly, he's, I don't know. It's hard to give up that Lady Gaga song he was in with the Do What You Want.
I don't even think that's that good of a song.
I love it, though. I can't.
Like, and I totally feel it. Because, like, again, like, I can't listen to Brand New anymore because I'm like, oh, like, it's all the money's going to go support that fucking asshole who, like, manipulated 14-year-old girls, blah, blah, blah. So, like, I feel you. Like, it sucks. And, like, I do remember, oh, who was it? My friend at work was saying that she, like, can't listen to Ignition anymore. And she's very upset. And, like, that she can't listen to it. But, versus, like, my dad, who was like, what? He just did I Believe I Can Fly. Who fucking cares? Like, as in, like, who cares that, like, it's ruining his reputation? Like, he didn't contribute anything anyway. But my dad's, you know, my dad's my dad.
So, that's kind of the paradox right now where, you know, it's like, okay, like, do you listen to the music, you know, despite the allegations? And I think that's more of a social pressure than anything.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's kind of like saying, okay, I have to give up this entire Lady Gaga song.
Mm-hmm.
They came out with a Christina Aguilera version. I don't prefer. I still like the R. Kelly one. It's one of my favorite Lady Gaga songs.
Yeah,
and I understand everything, and I know it's probably the worst than any act I could ever do right now is just saying I fucking love the Lady Gaga song with R. Kelly, and I have to give up Lady Gaga. But I think that's to say that if you don't like R. Kelly, you have to give up Lady Gaga too.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of like, okay, we attach ourselves to the music a lot more than the person. So it's kind of like the art, like me and you are sharing a moment with their art and not them.
Yes. And that's true. And that's the way that, again, you can, like, look at it and, like, enjoy the art. Although it's hard because, again, like, especially with the way music works, like, you know, in like streaming culture, like, or when we're, like, you know, playing it online, that could be easily translated into revenue for the artist. So I get that. And, like, I enjoy and I'm glad that people are trying to live, like, ethically and, like, in like through the, like, they're trying to do and live, like, through their ethics. So, like, again, that's why people are, like, not wanting to listen to R. Kelly because they know that he did bad things and, like, wrong, harmful, horrible things, and they want to live in such a way that doesn't support that. Like, I am all for that, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, like can you separate art from the artist? And, like, when I think of, like fine art, like traditional visual arts, like, there was a lot of painters who were, like, really fucked up and, like, horrible people. And, like, you know, there's actors who are horrible people, but, you know, somehow they still exist and, like, are able to be okay.
There's a little, I don't know. Okay. I thought about this the other day. I don't know how it's going to sound, but I'm going to put it out there. I don't think the solution, specifically revolving around the R. Kelly stuff with like, okay, we should mute R. Kelly, we should ban him. I don't know if the proper solution is to guilt other people to feel a certain way about it, as opposed to just letting them come to that feeling naturally.
Do you mean in terms of like telling them like you shouldn't listen to R. Kelly because he was this?
Yeah, and then like banning his music off of the radio, and like creating severe, harsh judgment against fans. Like, and just now, like he's like the new Hitler's mustache, and I just don't think and it's all coming from a group of people, So I just don't think that collective guilt that's determined by shit we see on TV and the media is the right way to facilitate us changing our mindsets about what is ethically right or wrong in terms of listening to art. So I still think he's going to have his fans. I think there's just going to be a lot more quiet people and a lot more windows rolled up when the MP3 player is playing, at the traffic light.
I totally agree. I think that people will just be more closeted about listening. I don't think it's gonna. I do think though it will cut down on listenership somewhat. Like not. I don't think like a huge amount, but I do think that people are gonna be more careful about like when they listen to them, and that's kind of like the sick. I don't know how to feel about this, but it's like it's kind of like the level of accountability extends not only to the artist but the people who support them in that sense. So like again, like I'm not listening to R. Kelly because he raped these girls and like did all these horrible things, and then like if you are found listening to R. Kelly like willfully, like then some of that shame extends to you because, oh my God, you're supporting a rapist. And it's on the one hand, I'm happy that we're trying to make each other live like ethically. But on the other hand, it goes to such an extreme degree that it's kind of like, I think again, everything's like a pendulum. And because like the internet is like in its infancy and like, and that's not even, I think that a lot of this has been born out of internet culture, which is like, okay. That's not like the end of the world, but because it was born out of that, like, and it's really connected to that. And that's how like a lot of like the spread of ideas happens now. I really think that like the pendulum will come to the middle at some point. Right now it's on one end of the spectrum.
I think that's the biggest problem I have with it is that it's not we should live life ethically. You should live your life based on my ethics.
Oh, definitely.
That's the problem I have with it.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, and again too, when you don't want to like rise to my ethics, then you're an asshole and you're a horrible person. It's very much akin to like when vegans or vegetarians push their vegan or vegetarianness upon you. Like, let's say we were out to dinner and like you ordered a burger and I looked at you and I was like, do you know how that cow was slaughtered? Do you know how that cow lived? Blah, blah, blah. Do you know like all this? Do you know that? And like, wow, you must hate animals because you eat meat. Oh my God. Like no one likes that. And it's the same principle or like the same effect when we look at somebody being like, oh my God, you're listening to R. Kelly. He's such a fucking rapist. How could you listen to him? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah. And it's like, on the one hand, I am happy that people are again pushing for each other to live ethically, but like where's the line here?
It's their ethics though.
Exactly, it is their ethics.
That's there's only one way to be right or wrong, and when you show any opposition they always go to the extreme example.
Yeah.
So like I'm a big proponent of I want Hitler to be Hitler again. Like whenever like there's like a bad person in the media, they're always compare like the one thing that like relates to like the conversation, like, oh yeah, well, what about Hitler? It's
yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. Like in fact, it's like kind of like Hitler is like the litmus test of how evil someone's actions were.
Yeah.
Instantly, it's like, well, he wasn't Hitler.
Well, not necessarily that, but it's like, well, Hitler did all this shit, and it's just like, okay, but that makes no sense to what the fuck is going on now. I understand, like, there's a time and a place for Hitler. Let him be Hitler and not, like, come over to just, like, okay, like, well, it was Hitler that was telling, people, like, oh, you should listen to R. Kelly's music. And it's just like, well, what? Okay, like, we get it. He was a bad guy, but he probably wouldn't have listened to R. Kelly anyway. Mm-hmm. Not because he was a rapist, but because who knows? Maybe he just like jazz. Who the fuck knows? But I'm just saying, like right now, there's so much social pressure to be what is right and just, not from your own turns, but from some collective, like invisible group thing. So like the documentaries come out, and then like you are supposed to feel a way about his music. Like, yeah, the guy's a piece of shit, but fuck, I love that Lady Gaga song, and I'm a piece of shit for saying that. You know.
Yeah. Although I think that there is more grace. I think that there is like grace within like saying like, I love this song. I enjoy it so much, but I recognize that, you know, he's a horrible person. Like, I think a lot of people, I think actually there's so many people in that space of like, I don't want to support someone like this. And I know that if I do that willfully, people will judge me for it. And I want to be able to listen to my music and not be judged, but I also don't want to support this person. So what do I do? So I kind of see like that a lot of people are maybe thinking about this, or like, oh man, like, you know, there's like this like feeling now, this like energy of like, you know, everyone's like, oh, I sincerely hope that like, you know, this person I look up to doesn't have a skeleton in the closet to make them canceled and lose everything there, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I'm kind of at the point now where, yeah, I'm hoping like the people that I look up to and admire aren't pieces of shit. It's at the point now where it kind of has to be measured on an individual basis, because it's just like so like rampant, and like I understand, like I totally get the whole change, but it's just like I'm just hoping that The Rock doesn't have some fucking secret, you know. And if it comes out that The Rock was doing some diddling, I'm just, god damn it, there goes 20 years of my whole life.
Well, yeah, no, and I mean,
just so I could be the cool guy in the room, you know.
I mean that's very much like what with like Louis C.K. like how I like really liked him as a comedian, and then when that shit came out, it was just like, oh, you know, there's this feeling of personal betrayal that like, oh my god, I can't believe I loved like somebody's art that was this. But again, I think it's at a certain point we need to have like a healthy dose of like, you can still like that person's art and try to make the distinction, as hard as it is. You know, like Louis was like one of the best TV shows ever, like hands down. And it's also too, like, maybe like we also need to recognize like that, I mean, maybe in stand-up it's a little different, but with something like a TV show or an album, like that isn't just one person. That is like usually a collective of people who've like worked to produce that. So like maybe there's also some grace in there, or like some room to acknowledge like we can still listen to this as a piece of art, because it wasn't just R. Kelly who made it, or it wasn't just Louis who made it. It was also these other people, and they shouldn't have to go down with his ship. So, I mean, maybe that's a way that you can like, people can think about it and like not feel as bad for still liking the art that they do.
I think the kind of originator of all this was Chris Benoit. For those of you who don't know Chris Benoit, he was a wrestler in the 2007. He murdered his kid, he murdered his wife, and then he killed himself like over the course of one weekend in June of 2007. So Chris Benoit, though, what the WWE did, and I'm not saying there's any right or wrong to this, but they completely, like, they did not advertise any of his matches. And for instance, Randy Orton is the youngest world heavyweight champion in the company's history. He beat Chris Benoit to get that title at SummerSlam 2004. So Chris Benoit won the Royal Rumble. I think at the point he broke some sort of record in that specific Royal Rumble, like when he won the chance and he took on Triple H and Shawn Michaels in a triple threat match. So even on the WWE network right now, like they have think of like a timeline with dots. So if you fast forward to the dots, it tells you like, okay, here's John Cena against John, JBL, Triple H against Kane. Like, none of them show up for Chris Benoit. So they distanced themselves, but like that guy was one of the best fucking technical wrestlers like in the history, like probably the best mat wrestler in the history of the company. So he had some of the best matches with Kurt Angle, especially at WrestleMania 17. Like that was a fucking clinic that they wrestled, against ladder matches against Chris Jericho. Like he was just an overall like amazing wrestler, but you can't talk about Chris Benoit because that also means you're deleting parts of the other wrestlers' histories. Like Kurt Angle's one of Kurt Angle's best feuds was with Chris Benoit. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's taking away from that. But at least like I understand with the art form like that, it's easier to find that kind of distinction. But at least with music, kind of like what I was saying earlier, is that it's not. We're not listening to R. Kelly's music as the man. Like, me and you are creating we're giving life to the art when we listen to this shit.
Yeah, totally.
So we're not giving life to him pissing on people.
Yeah.
And like locking them in fucking the house and telling them when they can't eat and pee and all that shit. Like, we had nothing to do with that. Like, what we're doing is we're creating this time between ourselves. Like, we're using that music to connect closer to one another. So it's kind of like, like when you have a home, that privacy helps you connect with the people that you live with.
Yeah.
Art helps you connect with people on a surface level and sometimes an even like deeper level. Like when you meet someone like who likes the same music that you do and they send you a song, you're like, holy shit, I didn't know this existed, but this is fucking amazing. Like the other day, my friend sent me a 80s remix of Ariana Grande's Into You. And I'm just like, fuck, it's so goddamn good. So we had that moment where we're just like we totally get it because like music is and like art is like bigger than life itself.
Yeah.
So I understand the struggle to just completely like wipe that out of your life. And I just don't see, I understand like certain people coming to the point where they're like, okay, if I listen to this person's music, I am supporting them. I think the general like consensus of it though is that there's kind of some sort of force and this guilt being brought upon it though. So it's just like saying, if you are not this, you are this. And I just think for like society to really like change can't be like, I mean, that guilt and shame helps, but what it does is just, it kind of just buries it,
Well, guilt and shame doesn't actually make change. Guilt and shame kind of makes people burrow inwards and not change. Like, it's very much the approach that like in my school district that we have been taking with how we approach like talking about equity and diversity. If we brought in a speaker who looked at our white teaching population, save for like a handful of people who are teachers who are people of color, and we got berated with how racist we are and how we all need to check our privilege and how we're this and we're that, like that shame and blame does not work. People will shut down the moment they're shamed and blamed. Yeah. It's very much akin to, again, like vegetarian or veganism. When I start holding you to my ethical standards, you're going to feel put off. You're not going to want to hang out with me. You're going to feel perturbed. Like that's naturally going to happen. So it's really, to me, at a certain point, it's like, when are people going to like wake up and be like, you know what? If you have a problem with someone listening to R. Kelly or watching Louis C.K., because of the decisions that those men have made, I think it's way more fruitful to have a conversation and a dialogue, as we always advocate on this podcast, is like having the discourse and being like, for you clearly are able to separate art and artist. For me, I think of it more of it this way. And like, but again, just like having a fruitful discussion and not trying to convince the person to come to your side, because that's not discourse. Discourse it's not about winning an argument or winning a battle. It's about understanding. Like you and I, we had different perspectives. I didn't want to take a stand on that one issue. You took a stand. That's okay. We're fine. I said my piece. You said your piece. This is not an argument to be won. So it's kind of like, even like with this stuff about like redemption and swear words and anything like opinion generated, it's very much like if we approach this as I'm going to try to beat you into submission to agreeing with me. Number one, I'm going to be perturbed. I'm not going to want to be friends with you. I'm not going to really be listening to what you're saying. I might just be going along with it because I'm so mad and don't know how to react in the situation. So I don't know.
It's definitely a lot of stuff to think about and consider, and I do think that the purpose of a dialogue is to have an exchange and not a win. So if your whole purpose of the dialogue is to get somebody to think what you think, then that's not really
dialogue.
No, it's not. Yeah. It's just what you're doing is you just want your monologue repeated back to you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and there's, said it before, say it again. I would rather have this podcast be a space for two people and two individuals to talk rather than it be an echo chamber. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to have someone with the absolute same political feelings as I do as a discourse partner, because it's not fruitful. And it's also like, all it does is like make me more emboldened in my beliefs rather than maybe being pushed to like grow and consider other perspectives.
Yeah.
Same thing with like why people should be open to the perspective of me swearing at them. No, I'm just kidding.
Speaking of black dicks.
Oh my God.
All right. Let's get back on topic. All right. What about those?
I don't think we can recover from that
All right,
one.
well, okay. Like here's the problem I have with black dicks.
Well, no, what?
Here's
Stop.
my biggest problem. Okay, they're just laying around in the fucking street, and I'm tripping on them all the time. I can't go to the grocery store without tripping over a giant black penis. And then I look at the guy. I'm like, "Is this yours?" He's like, "Oh yeah, man, my bad." And I'm just like, "God damn, just put that thing away. Like fucking roll it up like a garden hose, man."
Oh my God.
Like, I'm not saying don't have a black cock. I'm just saying don't have it like when I'm trying to get my fucking cookies at the grocery store, man. And you're in 3 aisles away. Just roll it up, dude. Like, just fish it, like reel it in, like some fishing line, and then, or just like
I'm like literally physically uncomfortable, and I don't even have a penis. Like with when you're talking about like wrapping it up like a garden hose, like ugh!
Or just like a cable, just like put it on your shoulder and roll it around your elbow and hand, and just like just like carry it, like, or just like a lasso, like like a cowboy doesn't have the fucking whole rope just dragging behind him when he's on the horse. No, he's got that thing. You got it rolled up nicely, man. So I'm just saying, just pick up your dicks. They're all over the goddamn place, man. Shit.
This has been Coffee and Catastrophe with Brent and Gabi. The cool thing about this podcast is you always get a mix of very seriousness, and then it'll just end with black dick. Not that black dicks are to be made fun of, like, let's be honest, but then you'll get an anecdote about Brent tripping over dick
here's
in
the thing.
Grocery store.
Anything that's excessively large is kind of funny. Like, okay, why do clowns have big noses?
Those aren't funny. That's just weird.
But like, what about like, remember like that All That skit with Ear Boy? And he just had really big ears?
No, I don't remember Ear Boy, but I remember like Peas and Carrots and was it Peas and Carrots? Like, there was the lunch lady who's obsessed with peas, was it? Or carrots or like whatever. And then like there's like, Dear Ashley, that's me, like that. But
like, dude, like, it's so like they're too big, man. There's got to be something done about it. I'm not saying I'm not advocating just to get rid of it. I'm just saying roll it up, man. Like, put it on, wrap it around your leg, walk with a club foot, for the safety of the children. But swear words. So I like swearing. I swear a lot. I try to swear less, only because when I swear too much, it kind of loses the power of the words to begin with. I think when you say fuck at the absolute right time, it can be such a force to be reckoned with. But if you say it all the time, you're like, yeah, I'm fucking going to fucking this, the fucking back. Like, it doesn't make there's no substance. Like, when you replace fuck with like, you don't allow
where it's like, and then I fucking, like, that thing.
Yeah.
Like, whenever you're fucking, like, no, stop.
And then I'm just fucking over this fucking corner, and this fucking woman.
I went to the fucking grocery store and I forgot my fucking bag, and like, it's like, stop.
So I told this fuck, how much fuck would a fuck if a fuck. Well, I will say those are New York cab drivers.
I've never been to New York.
God, I went on vacation to New York in 2013, and like, honestly, like, I was just walking down the street and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck, I fuck this fucking cocksucker, I fucking hate. And it's like a 4-year-old kid. Like, Jesus Christ, kid.
I thought you were talking about Boston for a second there, but it is funny that, like, it's kind of like there is like colloquial and like regional specific swears and like curses, like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's the one for Illinois? Is there one? Because like, okay, Boston.
It's like, oh, no, I'm just kidding.
like Boston's like,
oh, just gonna squeeze past you there.
Yeah, you fucking crack sucker.
No, like I think it's like, it's probably something like "fuck you," like.
Yeah.
Or like, because like in New York, they would just like be like, "fucking asshole," blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you fucking asshole.
And then Boston, it's like, yeah, Boston's like just every swear word you can ever think. You cocksucker.
You fucking
cocksucker. But in like, I don't know what like Chicago or like Illinois or like the Midwest's thing is. We're considered wholesome until we start swearing.
I think maybe like the swear word is betch.
Batch.
Might be. Like whatever, batch.
Batch.
B-E-T-C-H, betch.
Batch. Yeah, no, I gotta think about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
So, well, if you like to swear at your children, don't fucking do that.
No, swearing at people's not cool.
No, if you're just saying like, hey, fuck you, go fuck yourself. Unless it's funny.
Yeah, I say fuck you like, if I say fuck you, I'm usually not serious. I would say 98% of the time I'm not serious. Like I was at the bar after work on Friday and one of my coworkers got up to leave and he's like, I hope that one coworker who was at the other end of the bar who I don't like, he's like, I hope he comes over here and sits right here. And I looked at him and was like, fuck you. Like I'll say that because it's funny, but like I don't really mean like for him to go fuck himself. Like
so the 98%, so all the 2% is pretty much in my presence.
No, I never told you fuck you and meant it. The only I think I can think of one person who I've told fuck you and like authentically meant it.
So probably me after everything I say.
No.
Like, hey Gabby, and you're just like, fuck you, Brent.
Fuck you, Brent.
And I'm just like, hey.
Fucking done.
Yeah. And I say something weird to kind of offset it and it just like erases their memory. So
oh, well, if you have, really enjoyed this conversation, which started in a funny place, then was in a very serious place, and ended on a very funny place, you are in the right spot. Please subscribe to us. We are on iTunes, Stitcher, and CastBox. You can like us on Facebook at Coffee and Catastrophe. We're on Twitter at CCWBG. Feel free to hit us up with what your favorite swear words are. That would be kind of funny. Or if there are regional swears that you have, like, like fuck a duck. Is that a regional for Chicago? I've heard fuck a duck before.
Maybe more south.
Okay.
There's more trees and prairie.
And ducks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so please engage with us online. And until next time, take care of yourselves and be good to each other.
Wait a minute. I don't think there's anything funny about reckless big black cock.
Fuck you.